Well, that concludes today's Chinese Grand Prix at Shanghai for 2024. As you know, Max Verstappen won the race. Lando Norris finished second ahead of Sergio Perez. I know Fernando Alonso only finished seventh, but for me, that guy needs to be back in a race-winning car. This sport really needs Alonso in a competitive car. I know, of course, he re-signed for Aston Martin last week, but I mean, I know he's doing the deal in the hopes of getting a competitive car for 2026, but I mean, he was pretty much the only thing interesting in the race today. Like, once again, just like Japan, not much happened. Of course, behind the podium finishers, I mean, Max, for me, I mean, it's very hard to rate Max because he's got what I think is the best car, the best pit crew, the best strategist, the best car designer in Adrian Newey, the best team principal in Christian Horner. Although of course we have to see what happens with the investigation if anything happens. Lando Norris finished second, but of course, as we have come to expect with Lando Norris, he does have his good days, but is he consistent enough to keep this up? It remains to be seen. I think Leclerc beat Sainz for fourth place. Russell finished sixth, pretty much as expected. Eighth place was, who was it? I think it was Piastri. Ninth was Lewis Hamilton. A terrible day on the office for Lewis, I've got to say. I mean, Oscar sacrificed his race in order to help Lando Norris prioritise strategy in order to get such a good finish with the two safety cars. Lewis Hamilton, though, yes, I know he finished second in the sprint race, but to drop a clanger like that in the main qualifying session and go out Q1, a total disaster, and cost himself points for race day, starting so far back in 17th. 10th place was Nico Hulkenberg. Just like Yuki Tsunoda in Japan, it's going to become a very common thing where the bottom five teams are literally fighting for only 1 point scoring position. And I've seen reports that they are proposing for next year to extend the points down to 12th place because, of course, the teams at the back just don't seem to be able to fight for points regularly enough. And as for the rest of the pack, well, Alpine managed to get into Q2 for the first time this season. But of course, they didn't score any points. And frankly, I mean, Ocon beat Gasly again, but who cares? Because frankly, they don't have a competitive car. RB's day ended in disaster with both Tsunoda taken out by Magnussen and Ricciardo taken out by Stroll. Neither driver's at fault for what happened today. And really, I mean, it was just so unfortunate. Bottas was fighting for points yet again, just like in Japan. But once again, his car broke down. And I've got to say, with his car, in the being forced to pull off in the face of traffic coming towards him, I've got to say that was some very poor stewarding there from the FIA and the marshals, where they refused to put out any sort of virtual safety car to cover him off. Considering we've seen a lot of virtual safety cars and real safety cars come out for incidents like that, very poor there from the FIA. Zhou Guan Yu, well, he did well to reach Q3 in the sprint quali, and he finished ninth in the sprint race, but of course he didn't score any points. And in the actual race himself, where he completely messed up the main race qualifying, meaning he had to start down in 16th, and he finished down in 14th, fighting the likes of Stroll and Magnussen. I mean, of course, it's the first time F1 has been to China in 5 years due to you-know-what. As for the other drivers, RB, Sauber, Williams, yes, how could I forget? Absolutely nothing. Completely miles off the pace. Just, after smashing their cars up for the past few weeks in Australia and Japan, of course, all good Sargent went and had another spin in throughout the weekend. But in the race, he did all right, considering he wasn't too far off Albon for once. Who was there? RB, Sauber, Williams, Haas, Hulkenberg got the last point scoring position. Magnussen, totally stupid manoeuvre, taking Tsunoda out like that. coming from miles out and doing a dive bomb down the inside. I mean, come on, Kevin Magnussen, you're now 31 years old. You should be past that sort of driving. And to be honest, what else is there to say? I mean, yeah, Yuki Tsunoda did well at his home Grand Prix 2 weeks ago. I think, did he finish seventh, was he? Yeah, scoring 6 points, meaning that in the constructors table with Max Verstappen obviously leading the Drivers' Championship, and frankly, there's no point talking about that because no one's beating Max. But as for the constructors, Red Bull are miles in front in first place. I think Ferrari are just about in second place. I think now, of course, we have a battle on our hands between McLaren and Mercedes for third place, with Aston Martin down in fifth place, with, of course, Lance Stroll contributing absolutely nothing yet again. And in sixth and seventh place, we've got Haas and RB on, I think, 6 or 7 points. I've not looked at the table. And of course, the bottom three teams, Williams, Alpine, and Sauber, all on 0 points. And it's got to be said, there's just a huge gap between literally everyone, all spread over the field, at the front, in the middle, and at the back. It's, I'm trying really hard to say as much as I can, but there really is nothing to say because frankly, the sun is out. I'd rather be out there sunbathing, getting a tan, enjoying, some rare warm weather here in Britain, rather than flapping my gums about what an absolute trash driver Lance Stroll is with his zero awareness. I mean, the incident between him and Ricciardo, I mean, yes, I know there were Aston Martin and Lance Stroll's fans saying, oh, well, Carlos Sainz bunch to pack up, and Alonso only avoided him because of his cat-like reactions. Well, Lance Stroll, when he hit Ricciardo, had his eyes on the apex of the hairpin, when he should have had his eyes on where Ricciardo's car was at first. And if you saw that interview with Daniel Ricciardo, Ricciardo was livid. Daniel Ricciardo was like, oh my God, he didn't even look at where my car was. As for Kevin Magnussen, I mean, amazingly enough, of course, I think Daniel Ricciardo will get a free place grid penalty for the next race due to the fact he actually illegally overtook Nico Hulkenberg during the safety car. So, yeah, Daniel Ricciardo's season is frankly going down the drain, and frankly, it's probably going to drag his career down with it if he can't produce some amazing result out of his arsehole. I've got to say it. I think I'm going to have to do another video about Pierre Gasly or his future is because he's going nowhere at Alpine. Nowhere at all. So thank you for watching.